Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Whoops, me and my camera. I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, running a few minutes late. And I see Sarah and Mossy Man and Maverick. Good morning, good afternoon to y'all. um, I feel like sometimes as I was thinking about doing this video, and then I noticed that there were some other people doing a video, and I tried to intervene or listen, and I was like, oh, I am such a contrarian. There are so many people that's going to like, oh, he's trying to down this person and that person. And I want to say this, listen, I'm an old geezer that's been around a long time. That's for one thing. That's the truth, right? And I've been through a lot of these alignments, and, you know, this will be my 68th December 21st in my lifetime. Now, I want to make this perfectly clear, and I'm going to say it again later on. This video is in no way intended to put anybody down or to put anybody else's beliefs or feelings or whatever, but in this, as a lot of you know, sometimes there has to be the grown-up in the room. And I say that with tongue in cheek. I consider this one of those times when, you know, the shaman has to stand up and say, hey, let's talk about this, please. So, you know, there is a lot going on with the ascension, and for me, I've been calling it the transition. There's the 5 waves of energy that's coming in, that Mike from around the world on Paul Begley's show, for example. There are other folks that are just, you know, there was a live stream by a very famous person, and I don't really want to, I'm not trying to diss anybody, is what I'm saying. But of all the information and everything, the last few days, and like trying to key into the universe and, you know, what's going on and how are things going and, you know, those kinds of things, that there's going to be some people that may be very disappointed this coming Tuesday on the 22nd, because somehow what they feel this alignment and et cetera is going to be may not be what they think it's going to be. Now, I consider every single day the opportunity for you, for me, for us to make that higher transition to that higher realm of thinking. And to those folks, they say it's going to be, it's the 5th dimension. And I've studied this, I've listened to people, I've apologized to them and said, you know, in the realm of shamanism that I have been studying, that some of this, what some folks are trying to explain as the 5th dimension, is like the 4th dimension from our point of view, okay? So there is a difference in opinions amongst Native American types and shamans. Each culture has their own base for this. But here's the thing. Every day, every single day that we're awake could be a day of transition or ascension for us. Now let's have a short little conversation about what does ascension mean to you? You know, what does the transition mean? what would, what would be a higher form of reality that would set in? And how many people on this planet, when there are folks who are saying, well, the whole planet is going to experience this. And I want to say, okay, but not everyone is anywhere near as aware of some of us, some of y'all. And in that, I include myself, but not in trying to say whether or not I'm a higher learned being or not. I've just been here longer than a lot of other folks. I I consider that to be my crime, if you will. But in that, it's also been a lot of observations. And now there's some other folks, very few, who agree with me on this, that it's really just going to be a high energy day and don't expect too much. And I have said this before, but as we get closer to this, it is imperative that we understand, what is ascension to me? What is that higher realm of thinking? And it could be something as small as you understand what a caterpillar is, and the fact that it's going to go into a cocoon, and then it's going to transmorph into something else. And when you understand that we are all like butterflies, and so what stage are we in? Are we still in the caterpillar stage? Some of us are. Some folks have just hatched, and they're just starting to begin to understand what the universe is even like, or about, or however you want to put it. And so, the whole planet is supposed to go through this. Well, how I'm going to be affected by things is not going to be the same as someone who doesn't have a clue. And I don't mean that in any kind of derogatory meme or, but if someone's just really not paying attention and they're just into their cell phone all the time, whatever might transpire is not going to mean the same to them as it may mean to me. Now, with that said, it may affect them more than it affects me, because there are so many things that I have learned to understand in my journey to being a shaman. Right? I'm a shaman in training. I've always said that, and I continue to say it. I'm still learning, but in what I have learned in looking back, I think that a year or so ago, there was this grand alignment. Jupiter sat, everybody was on one side of the sun at one time. And there was all this that was going to happen, the solar flares and the new ice age. And it was just sort of a little bit more of the same old, same old. A few extra earthquakes here and there, a storm of this, of that, other stuff that's just been going on, not necessarily any more crazier than anything else here in the last 10 or 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So, with this, with utmost respect for those who think that, Sunday, Monday is going to be this some kind of fantabulous, we're all moving into Aquarius. We're already in Aquarius, by the way, that somehow this alignment of two planets, when there was this really big configuration a couple of years ago, or a year or so ago, anyway, my point is, what happened after that? Nothing. Nothing spectacular happened. But what did people make of it at the time? Oh, it was such high energy. And oh, I feel that the earth has made another thing. And oh, okay. But did anybody really feel it as it was sort of reported out to the general populace, if you know what I mean? So in this, I want to be honest with folks. You know, does ascension mean that you're going to learn how to be able to walk through walls, or that you're going to be able to float somewhere, or you're going to be able to close your mind and immediately put yourself in another place, instantaneous across the universe, or across the planet, or across the room? Who knows? And and the thing is that what would some of these God, I have to be, I swear I'm being kind. But what are some of these morons going to do if they had that kind of ability when all they can do is their phone and play games and bitch about shit? And they're going to have the ability to be able to do what? Can we talk here? So, where I have been practicing and meditating for my own sake, you know, not for anybody else's. It's only until these last few years that I learned that by being and learning to be a shaman, in that you must teach others and share with what you have, because in sharing with others, it reaffirms those things which have already happened to the shaman or the person in training. So, teaching is part of the last bit of it. There are people who are they're not really reporting themselves as shamans, but they're doing and speaking shamanic type things. Okay, but when I take stock at what I've learned from other medicine people, male and female, and that and I look at what I've learned and I go, but wait a minute, those folks seem to be missing, not that I'm better now, but they seem to be missing certain key things that I seem to have learned and know, and like it's part of the deal kind of thing. And these people are either ignoring it, not mentioning it, or pretending it doesn't exist. Well, that's ignoring it, right? Um, so I try my best not to like, well, these people just don't know what they're doing, or, and what I do is I pray and I go, oh, please let these folks understand that the types of things that they feel for themselves. And to them, this may be an ascension point, but it may not be for me. And it may not be for you. It just might be an energy day, something that we can share with the universe and allow it to be for what it is. Because I think there's going to be some people who are going to be a little disappointed on the 22nd. That's my humble opinion. And what I want to say is very confidently is I'm still going to be here, whether today, tomorrow, the next day, or on the 22nd, or on the 24th, or on the 28th. I feel like I'm still going to be here. And I'm hoping, I always have hope that, some people will awaken to a higher level of thinking. But then, I realize what a lot of people are professing that's going to happen versus what is actually going to happen. I think there's going to be a great lull or a divide or a gap or whatever you want to call it. And I swear to you, I'm not trying to mean for anyone, but we have to look at things practically. And practically speaking, the more I've, meditated on it and looked at the things and listened to other people, and it's just not resonating with me at all. And it actually brings up little, danger, Will Robinson, warning, warning. And so that, and the warning is that not that something terrible is going to happen to you. It's going to be that if you get your hopes up and you get to whatever that place is supposed to be, the 20th, 21st, and you realize on the 22nd, I don't really feel any more different. Hang on, what was supposed to happen? So I would like to discuss ahead of time what we may think after the fact. What if the answer is no? The 21st is just basically another day. And folks wake up the next day and go, what the hell? You know? So, how would you feel if you put forth enough energy that this is going to be the end all be all of all things and we're going to bust into something new? Now, again, all things are possible. And I'm not saying that it couldn't happen, but the types of things that have already happened during my lifetime that weren't any more special than the day before or the day after. Did world events change? World events are changing here lately every flipping minute. Every time you turn around, somebody's talking about this or that or the other thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's all of these things that can save us, but we all have to have a vaccine, and we're all going to have proof, etc. You know what I mean? So there's a control factor. So there are many people that I highly respect, I swear, but I scratch my head and go, from all my interpretations with the universe, what these folks are discussing, I just ain't feeling it. I mean, it ain't there. And as much as I'm like, come on, let me get my little, maybe it's me, it's my energy. And it's like, no, my energy's still really good. I'm outside and, I'm doing this and I still feel connected to the universe, blah, blah, blah. Um, but I do not feel connected to what and I'm going to paraphrase this, but it seems to what some of these folks are really in the process of a hard sell. And I have to go, I'm sorry, gang. You all talked about this the last time all these other planets and stuff were going to line up. What happened then? Nothing. Well, did you get any more, alien, explained, uncovered, that kind of thing? No, not really. Has the universe really changed? No. Are we still in a fight for our lives politically and all this other stuff? Yes. Are the Chinese and all these people, are they trying to invade us one way or the other? The answer keeps coming up. Yes, in different ways, hacking, otherwise, right? Shutting down our economy and all these people who are interacting this way and that way. And you go, 6 months ago, we would not have understood that this would be going on, what's going on right now. Many of us, all we could see was confusion and chaos. And many of us have said, we're going to have to ride this chaos out. But at the same time, with this chaos that's going on, can we actually say that because two planets line up, our world is going to change so drastically? Yes, we're already in Aquarius and we're going to keep going into Aquarius because it takes many years for this to happen. All right. Yes. And I have stated, I believe this is the beginning of something. It is the beginning of winter. And this is a time for us to go within and learn about what we're going to plant for the spring and how we're going to, how we're going to make next year be and how we're going to celebrate. Thank you, Jesus. We've made it one more year, for good or bad. And I for all the things that were wrong that befell me over this year, I'm still here. I consider that a plus. Me and Duggar are still around. We're still working on stuff. I can still run and play in the yard with him. I cut a tree down in the yard and cut it up. Been cutting up firewood and things. It really hurts, but I go out there and do it anyway. Complain on my part, but I still get her done. I did that concrete work the other night. The concrete's dry, and now I can finish up the wall. Going to have to do a little adjusting because some of those blocks tilted a little bit. And as I go up with the block, I got a lean that I do not want. So, but anyway, I've had everything set the other night, and then it just took longer to set up than I had intended. And I got tired, came in the house and did a video about watching concrete dry, and it ended up with a slight tilt. Anyway, but did I foresee that? No. Can I fix it? Yeah. Is it going to make any big hill of beans later on? No. I can correct it. But it's just another day. Today's Saturday, going on Sunday now. I guess it is Sunday. But with this idea of what does ascension mean? It would ascension to me, or the transition for me, because I'm aware of certain things. I've had religious experiences. I've had over 500 types of LSD, mushrooms, you name it, type of, I've had peyote, I've smoked hash. There's a lot of things that I've done in my lifetime that were done with on purpose with a shaman type thing in mind. Okay, not to just get high. I went through a period of that, but then I turned it to I want to understand the universe. I saw this in a dream once. Let me try to understand it more. I'm a wild and crazy guy, but yet I've learned some things from the universe. And personally, I wasn't taking care of those things. I was a wild and crazy guy, and every day is a holiday. And so getting drunk, getting high, getting stoned, getting plastered, whatever, and being, not necessarily a miscreant, but, I was happy all the time, but, broke, poor, and drunk or stoned or hungover or something. And in all of that lesson, it was a lesson in, I really didn't need all that. And I can be blissfully happy just seeing a blue sky on a clear day. And today, oh my God, the chemtrails were out. It was beautiful. And then they started spraying. They haven't sprayed in a while. Don't know what was up for today, but oh my God, the spraying was atrocious. I was getting all this nice warm sunshine in the house, and then the spraying came over, and it went from really nice and warm in here with the sun coming through the window where I sit here in my chair and drink coffee. And what a beautiful morning. I was cold, and I should not have been. That's how much sunlight was being blocked out today from yesterday. It warmed up the house perfectly yesterday. Today it was fighting to stay just a little bit above chilly. I was like not impressed with the with the chemtrails. So, all right, let me have a drink of coffee. 17 people in here. Hi, Robert V. How are you? I got your message. Hey, Michelle, Travis, how are you? Michelle, Travis, Robert, Ian. Oh, Teresa, how are you? Oh, yes. Let's all say, um, you know, praise the Lord for homemade ice cream. Yeah, oh, man. I get a brand they sell at the Dollar General down here. I'm trying to think of the name of it now, but it's the slow churned vanilla, and it tastes as close as I remember because we used to make homemade ice cream a lot back in the day, and there wasn't no motor on it. We had to hand crank that thing. But I remember putting ice and the rock salt in it, and Grandpa and everybody around and making that ice cream. Oh Lordy, it was good. But anyway, to this transition slash ascension, what would someone feel like? Okay, so you go to sleep at night and you think life is normal, and you wake up the next day and you go, oh my God, I understand the sunshine, and oh my God, I understand that the sun shining on the trees and the plants, and it has this thing. Oh my God, I understand that Mother Earth is actually life. Now think about those folks who have very little of a clue, if you follow me. Not that they're maroons, but that their heads ain't there, right? So then for them to wake up in the morning to things that many of us have associated into our lives, and as our journey has progressed us, we understand, the sun and the moon, and they all have these meanings, and that we're all connected in the universe. Then you're going to take somebody that's really, hadn't really doesn't have a clue, and they're going to be awakened to the same level of thought process, say, like me in my crazy brain, and they're going to go, what? They're going to freak out. They're going to go, but I can't believe that. You mean a what? Oh my, think about some of the discussions I've had with y'all. And to think about someone who has never, ever had those kind of thoughts that dear old Uncle Hawkeye's had and has shared with you over the years, that would freak these people out, and I'm just, this one little guy over here hanging on the side, right? But open them up to the idea of the quantum reality, that we're all swimming in this quantum goo, and what? So these people, if they're going to wake up make the transition or ascend in their higher thinking, to what level are they going to ascend into their higher thinking? What transition are they going to make? I mean, let's put this down to these folks are novices. All right, let's be nice and but we have to be blunt too. These folks who don't take any of this stuff into account in this transition, etc., their eyes are just going to be, wait a minute. They're going to look up and say, huh? So it's like first graders, well, now kids get, crayons and stuff when they're, much younger than back in my day. But the idea, though, that there are folks who are going to look at this and go, well, wait a minute now. I just realized there's an eraser on the end of my pencil. Think about that. They're in kindergarten with their thinking. They've been playing with this pencil, but then somebody told them there's an eraser on the other end. If you make a mistake, you can gently erase. Oh my God, that's a whole nother level of thinking. When you look at numbers on the board and they don't mean anything, and then when you finally grasp that 3 plus 2 equals 5, when you understand that it's 5 apples, it's 5 oranges, it's 5 pennies, which is a nickel, means 5, it's $5. When you understand that concept, you are no longer an idiot, because you understand the concept. There is an association with how many numbers of things they are, and there could be 4, there could be 7, but you can count them and you can represent. There's a number that you can write that means what you see down here. That is a transition in the human knowledge thing, because there are folks who still don't really grasp that. And there are other people who grasp it on a higher level than I even ever want to consider. But the idea, though, that in this idea of spiritualism and this transmutation, the transition, the ascension, there are people who have such basic skills that they are still scribbling with a number 4 pencil, the great big giant ones that I had as a kid, with no eraser. If you made a mistake, you just crossed it out, scribbled, what are you doing, Dave? Anyway. So, but in this understanding of transitioning and so forth, what it means to each of us in our own spiritual journey is not going to be the same as other folks who don't have a clue. And I mean that with respect. They don't know what we're talking about. They've never really studied this, but they're going to go through the same waves of energy. They're going to go through the same cosmic stuff. They're going to be there on the same day that you and me are. They're going to, quote, experience the same energy. But is it? Can it be? Let's be honest about this and say absolutely not. Some of us may feel different on these days simply because we have spent a lot of time in trying to understand higher realms of thinking. Does that put us ahead of the curve? Yes. How far ahead of the curve? Well, it depends on everybody's, point of view. There are a lot of people I talk with and so forth. And one of the few people that I've talked with that seem to understand me, on a level that other folks don't, was our dear friend, Brian. And bless him, he's on the other side. But I was asking the universe the last couple of days, what about this thing? And so, and one of mine is, hey, Brian, what's it really going to be like? And it was like, his answer was very simple to me, along with my own spirit guide, was there's going to be a lot of disappointed people on Tuesday, because what they feel it's supposed to be, what people have told them, this is how it's going to be, and we're all going to be able in the 5th dimension, and we're all going to be able to do. What about the people who honestly don't have a clue? Not because they're stupid or whatever, it's just not what they do, right? So not everybody's built like me. You can live down here on the edge of the woods and, be, quote, the hermit or the homesteader or whatever. It takes a different type of person to, quote, live the way we do. When you're cold, you go outside and you cut firewood and you put it in the fridge, in the heater. No matter how damn old you are, you go out and set firewood. But in this, and here's the thing though, the older that you get, you find ways it's a little easier than when you were a young buck and, well, I'll split this and I'll carry 20 armloads. Nah, you're a little more careful with what you do. So when you learn about things and when it gets cold, you feel it differently than I did when I was, 20, 30 years ago. Much differently. It's still cold. It's still the same. It's still my house, but my personality has changed. My understanding of things have changed. So in certain ways about being cold and firewood and things, I have ascended to a higher realm of thinking of how I look at it, how I cut firewood, where I stack it, how I take just the whole 9 yards. So I have made a transition in my thinking in that. Now that's just about firewood. But take into consideration, though, the many different steps, the many different depths of spirituality, of this understanding of the universe. And for a lot of people, and bless every single one of you. But there are some folks I look at and go, you almost got it. Come on. Because I was where a lot of people are today. And other shamans said, you almost got it, Hawkeye. Come on. You almost got it. And the thing is, you go, well, I don't see what the difference is. I have it yet? Almost. And then there is that last 0.5% that you get. And to me, those were transition type, ascension type moments when I realized that there was a 0.5, I was there 99.5. And somehow in all of this, there was a little bit of something that I realized I was missing. And when I got it, it just went boing. And that rest of the 100% hit me because I was not necessarily holding back, but in trying to put forth 100% and not getting there is sort of like a bottleneck, and you're bouncing around and your energies don't know what's going on. But when that other 0.5% kicks in and you get it 100%, and then you go, oh my gosh. And nothing will ever be able to explain that particular moment in your life. You did ascend to a higher realm of thinking. You did ascend to a higher realm of understanding, connection with the universe. You have made a transition because now that which you have worked on for however long you've been working on it, 9.5% there. And it was that last little ding of awareness that you went, oh. But then that you're not over, because now that sets a base point for where you are spiritually or your understanding. So you can look back on that and go, man, I remember when I was almost there. And for so long, I was almost there. And I prayed to the spirit. He kept saying, you're almost there. Keep the faith. And then when I got it, I was like, now I don't have, and no energy gets expended in that anymore, because that understanding sticks with you unless you fly off the handle and go over here and forget about stuff. But if you take it into consideration and use it as this base, and it doesn't matter, it could be first base, it could be third base, it could be 10th base, it could be 150. It doesn't matter. Because in my lifetime, there's been so many little transitions, so many little special aha. I thought I had it, but nope, aha, I get it just a little bit more. And in that percentage of feeling, it only takes a little bit to make everything else that you've already experienced seem really more awesome. But in that transition, in that, metamorphosis, in that caterpillar stage, whatever, How many of us are even close to that, you know? I know where I am, and I'm always looking and trying to experience. But when I look back over things, I'm like, well, what about this? Well, I pretty much understand that. I think I'm good. Okay, creator, spirit guide, anything else I need to learn there? Now you pretty much got it, Dave. Just, meditate on that. Okie dokie. And maybe it's, I had a dream that I was, on this river and it was the wrong river. And I woke up today and remembered that when I drove into Coolidge to get groceries and dog food for Mr. Duggar, that I I went down that road today, but on the way home, I I went a different way, absolutely by accident. And as I'm driving down the road, I noticed that I didn't have any lights. My one of the beams on my truck went out, and so I'm literally driving down the road with no lights on. I'm going, what the hell? And the lights are on, mind you. And I flipped them again, and I went, oh, holy crap! Please, Jesus, let me make it home. I've got one tiny little light on the front and I'm 7 miles away from home. So as the lights went out, I missed my turn. I got two ways I could come home. But anyway, so I'm driving down the road and I realized I'm on the road that was in my dream. I had missed the turn in my dream somehow, and I was on the old B line instead of being on Zion Grove. And I was like, now how did I do that? Now it was odd because when I got home and putting up groceries, I was like, now I dreamed I was on the B line, and tonight I was on the beeline. What? And but it was because my lights were not working right as I was driving home. I missed the turn, and never thought about it because I used to go home that way all the time anyway. So, but in this though, that when our awareness, when we understand that, wait a minute, I had a dream that actually sort of came true today. Don't know what it meant. I just remember seeing the road and going, I was, wait, I was on this road in my dreams. Oh, I'm on the B line. Holy crap. How did I get here? Whoops. So where does it tie in? I don't have a clue, but it's just interesting that I perceived that, and maybe it was in the dream that I remembered, oh, somehow I missed my turn. I'm not sure. Maybe it's that I need two new headlights, I need new bulbs, which, yeah, that's probably true. But and to not get my pants down when it gets dark, because now I only got one very dim light. So, but then on the same thing though, and from I don't know whether you want to call it spiritualness or whatever, I was like, well, what if my headlamp went out? What if the other one went out? Because I hit a deer before and the lights went blinky and I didn't have any lights and I had about 12 miles to get back home. I didn't have a cell phone. It was raining, middle of the night. And so what I did was I took I took some baling wire and a bungee cord, okay, and tied a 6-volt battery, one of those big round lantern batteries, right? And tied it to the front of my truck, okay, and went home. And I had another one that I was sticking out the window, but it was in the middle of the night and, it was backcountry roads. But the thing is that if anybody stopped me, they couldn't give me a ticket because I did have lights on the truck. Now my tail lights worked, my turn signals worked. I just didn't have headlamps. So, but the headlamps were, guess what? 6-volt lanterns, strapped to the hood of my truck. They worked. I got home. So, but other people would still be stuck on the side of the road. That's why I got a couple of lanterns in the back of my truck, which I probably need to change batteries. But anyway, but to that point though, I was like, oh my God, how would I get out of this? I'm at home. I got ice cream that's melting. Duggar's in the car shivering. And wait a minute, I got a lantern in the back. I got this. Well, if the light goes out, I'll pull over and we'll take care of this. We made it home. Everything's okay. But to the point, though, years ago, I would have stuttered over that. Oh my God, my headlight went out. I'm going to have to drive home in the dark. No. And I did that one time. Okay. So with my old 51 Chevy pickup truck, I drove about 9 miles to the house on the side of the road, going really slow and, keeping an eye on the yellow line. If I saw a car coming, I'd pull over. But you know, I came about 12 miles home one night, which is, I live 15 miles from town, so there you go. But about 12 miles, with, you know, with no headlights and no accident or anything. But to the point though, you know, in life, there are times when sometimes our lights go out and we don't know where we are. And a lot of times, you know, our flashlight out is out. I'm in a cave. I was doing, you know, internal work. I was doing shadow work. And then somehow that light bulb went out. Well, the lesson is to learn how to see in the dark. What? Yeah, remember that third eye thing? Remember that thing I've talked about in some of my videos before? Many videos, actually, about how you learn to see with your fingertips, how you learn how to just close your eyes and see the problem in your head. And all the children who have learned, you know, they put on a blindfolds and they go about their day and they learn how to see with their third eye. It's how blind people see. It's how, you know, a lot of disabled people, their other senses are heightened. Their hearing, the sense of smell, their sense of touch, you know. And so in this idea of ascending or transitioning, have you went through a day without opening your eyes? Have you done that work to see through your third eye? Have you tried to put on a blindfold and do something with only your fingertips and relying on your energy, relying on, to quote Luke Skywalker and you know them, the force, because it is so, regardless of movie, it is so truth. The more that you understand to harness the quantum, the force around us, the more we're able to see, think, feel, and maybe move objects, maybe help to create better realities for other people. And so in this, that I'm saying, hey, listen, be careful that you don't get over zealous about this coming, what's coming up here in the next couple days. Let's all put good energy in it, but at the same time, everything that I've been listening to, and I know there are folks out there literally beating a drum that this is it, man, we're all going. And I look at it and go, maybe some of us are going to get a higher bump. And I would fully understand that. But there's some folk out there, I don't think it's going to change them one hill of beans. And for folks who are looking for more to grasp onto in this time of chaos, oh, it's all going to be beautiful in 2 days. And then when Tuesday comes and they go, oh, shit, what are they going to do? What are those folks going to think? Are they going to be so disappointed they give up? You know, they put so much of their faith into listening to these people who I honestly do believe want this to occur. Don't get me wrong, you see. I would like for this to occur, but there's so many levels of this to occur. Who's going to get it? Who ain't? If we're all going to get it, what are we going to get? Because my understanding of a little bump in the spiritual understanding of things might freak out the quote normal person, the normal Joe or Jane or Jim or Judy or whoever, or Joaquim or Kamele. Uh, don't get me started. Melee, Mayday, Mayday. Um, So, with all the chaos that's being corrupted, erupted, ejected, and dumped on us, if there are some really good entities to come in, if the chaos is affecting us so badly, are we going to feel it? You know what I'm saying? If we're so wrapped up in the day or what's going on the planet, and I discussed this a couple of videos ago, or my last video, in that in order to allow myself to be a part of the 20th and the 21st, I have to I'm not going to look at any news tomorrow. Okay. Today's my last day of looking at the news, and maybe not even on tomorrow night or Monday. I'm not going to look at the news. Why? Because that's going to affect my spiritualness. Okay. I'll check my email, but I seriously doubt I'm really going to go into like reading headlines tomorrow, because in my participation of wanting to be a part of the 20th, 21st, my agenda, the prayer for peace, if my mind and everything is congested with the chaos of the day and what's going on, I won't have a clear enough mind to give that which I would like to give to the universe. So after this video, I'm going to shut down, more or less, looking at stuff and rabbit holing and who's got out what, and I'm just going to like let it go by. Okay, watch a football game and that's it, and basically not necessarily zone out, but I'm going to zone out of the chaos. Okay. I'm going to leave the chaos behind me for a day or two. Even though I understand it's still out there, I'm not going to allow it to affect what I want to do. And I don't want, because if I read a particular piece from the Washington Post or something and it pisses me off in some way, that's not going to help my spiritual being for what I would like to be for tomorrow and the next day. Would like to just be as connected as possible without going batshit crazy, But if I want to try to stay up with what I normally do every day, is keep up with the chaos, see what's going on, follow trends, I can't do that starting like now for the sake of tomorrow and the next day, for myself, because I want to I want to be able to be clean of heart without any outside distractions. So as I've said before, as a shaman learning about ceremonies, and not necessarily rituals, mind you, but ceremonies, and in that I always started a day or two ahead of time, because I wanted to focus on the ceremony and not anything around whether or not my bills are paid or is there enough milk in the fridge. I got plenty of milk in the fridge. I made sure I got all that took care of today, so that tomorrow can be a day of, just relaxed and open meditation, collect some firewood, and just kind of be with the universe, and not allow anything else to like jam up my brain waves. So, but with any type of ceremony, if you're really serious, I mean, you really got to be serious, 100.5%, in that you are willing to give up your daily routine up to a point, and you're willing to, make yourself not do something like watch the news or follow up on something, because you want to make sure that your intent for your ceremony will be as close to 100% as you can give it. So I say that, okay, how many folks actually really get what I'm talking about? In that, well, what do you mean it takes a whole day ahead of time? And why do you got to do all that? It sounds frivolous to me. Why can't I just come home from the grocery store and go do it? Then you're not understanding the process of this, And I'm not being belittling anyone, but I thought the same thing, and in this, I had to learn there is a reason for that, a reason to set things right within yourself. And 24 hours really isn't that long of a time. I mean, when I think about what the Plains Indians and some of them did, sometimes they would fast a day or two before they went out on a hunt. They didn't eat for 2 days. Okay. There are people that I've known over the years, and they went to powwows to be a drum. There was 4, maybe 5 of them, and their drum is sacred. Okay. And the drum is always kept a particular way, wrapped in a special blanket that's all sacred. It's got sweet grass and sage in it and other things. It's never like played with, and there are always prayers and ceremonies around the drum. Now, there may be 4 or 5 drums at a powwow. So there will be drumming, but from different drums. They just consider those folks around a drum as the drum, okay? And it doesn't have to be the same 3, 4, 5 people. There are people can sit in on a drum. But anyway, so, but the specialness of this, so most people say, well, there's a couple Indians sitting around with sticks beating on a drum. They have no idea that these guys traveled 1,000 miles and have barely eaten anything for 2 days because they wanted to be clean and ready so that when they did drum at the powwow, their spirits would be clean and their prayers and the drum itself, the representation of the heartbeat of Mother Earth, would be as pure as possible, and that their prayers would go up, with the smoke from the fire. Now, a lot of people just don't get it. Oh, it's a couple Indians that pulled a drum out of the back of their truck. And it's a couple Indians sitting around. But when you talk to the people, when you understand what these folks are actually doing, they might just seem like a couple of renegade Indians with a drum in the back seat of an old Pontiac, which has happened. But these folks did it with purpose. They scraped enough money together, didn't eat, had a bag of potato chips between them, melted snow for water, honest to God, and drove down to do a powwow because they wanted to add the prayer of their drum into that with the other drums at the powwow. And they literally, put out a blanket, and anyone who can help us, we need money to get back to, we were in Tennessee at the time, and they had to get back up into Minnesota. They were a Minnesota drum, Blackfeet or Blackfoot, anyway, but up in the Minnesota tribes. So, but anyway, but so there are these folk who understand how deep the meditation is, how deep the spirituality is in the things that they do and why they do them and what is their purpose behind it. And so just a couple of guys, that want to go to a powwow. And so they ask Creator, give us what we need. And they get there, they hang out, they get fed, not a dime on them, but they come with a prayer. And through that prayer, they get enough money to go home on, and and they don't know what's going to happen the next day because they're Native American and they put faith in the Creator that the drum and the prayers that they put forth will somehow come back and help them survive in the next few days. It's amazing how many people put that kind of faith in the universe every day and just say, okay, we're, Creator, send us on, broke down on the side of the road. But the people that helped them, they needed help. So they got a free tire, but the other people needed something else done. So they ended up working out some time for a day or so. And they were a day late getting back to Minnesota, but they didn't have anything up there. It was snowing at the time. But so they ended up making new friends. They got a new tire. They got a little bit of gas money, and they helped these other people out the ones that stopped to help them. I mean, sometimes you never know how things are going to work out. But how many people have enough faith in the universe that they can allow that kind of openness? And you say, well, is there synchronicity? To some of these people, it is. Sometimes, one accident befalls the next. And so, but those folks that I've considered to be like very holy people, because they have this certain understanding that I'm going to still work. I'm still going to try to do good. Still going to put forth. I'm still going to, but if life throws me a curveball, I'm going to deal with it. Creator got me into this. Creator will help me get out of it, kind of thing. Do I have faith? Yes. Okay. And trust me, it ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. It has nothing to do with any religion. It has to do with understanding and believing in the universe, the Creator of all things, source. So, I look at some of these folks that I've met over the years and I say to myself, these folks are still looking for a higher spiritualness. What I look at them and go, I kind of sort of got that faith, but see, I'm hedging that 0.5%. I haven't been able, well, I'm kind of stuck at home at the moment, but like a lot of others of us, but that 0.5% of just hitting the road and going, okay, I ain't going to worry about how I'm just going to go. Spirit says, go over here. I'm going to go there. Now, I have done that on occasions, but to just live that way, you know, I got my place, and I know that if it gets cold, there's wood I can bring in. There are certain things but in a way, I am out in the universe doing that. Because regardless of what Creator brings tomorrow, I'll go out in the woods and get some wood. If it floods tomorrow, I'll sweep the water out. If it comes to this or that, I'll work on that too. So in my journey, I may not travel far, but I'm living with the universe as the universe is every day. So what about this transition thing? What about this fifth dimension? What about all these special things? My friends, I honestly pray that really good things will happen in the next 2 days. But let's have a chat on Tuesday or maybe Wednesday of next week, just before Christmas, right? And see if anybody has made it to that woo, you know? Again, I'm not trying to criticize anybody who's talking about it. Understand that, because it would really be nice. But I look at things, as y'all know, in a totally different way. And as I've been, looking at it for the last week or so, I don't see it the same way. Not maybe. I swear. I hope I am so wrong. Y'all can throw pies at me. I'll even buy them. I love good pie, right? So, and to have somebody throw them at you, that'd even be more fun. The clown in me, But here's a pie in your face. But I would gladly, stand naked and go, I was wrong, y'all. Here's a naked 68-year-old man going, wookie, 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 wookie. I was wrong. But let's talk on Tuesday or Wednesday and see. Again, yeah, I'll get naked if that's what it means. Not that anybody wants to see that shit, but I make the offer as that if I'm wrong, I will go to those lengths to admit it. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Lady Spitfire. Lady Spitfire, I feel for you. I've had folks that have destroyed things. But here's the deal. If somebody that loves you or suppose you love or something like that has gone to the point that they're smashing windows and things, it seemed to me that the relationship, I've been there, okay? It seems that the relationship has hit a point when then if a warrant is in the cards and is warranted, as a side note, that might get the other person's attention, in that, love or not, you don't do this shit. You have lost your whatevers, and you need to understand what reality is. I'm sorry, but then that's something that you'll have to carry on your own. And the other person, regardless of who it is, needs to be able to learn to stand up for their mishaps, mistakes, or otherwise what they deem as necessary in the universe. And sometimes when it involves, smashings of things, we have to say, sorry, bud, but you crossed the line. You know, I didn't, you did. Your smashed window. I have a car in my yard that where the neighbor's kids smashed the windows, and I went through a similar thing. And it was like, well, but we're neighbors. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't get it. This is a 1961 Dahmer, and it looks exactly like a Jaguar, and it's a sedan. It's even got the steering wheel on the right side of the car light. It came from England. and there was only so many left, and there's so many, and your kids busted out the windows in this thing. I don't give a damn. You know how much that car is worth? And the guy was like, "Oh, that can't be worth but $500." And then he did an internet search using the parameters and so forth, and he found out the car in its current shape was worth $15,000. And it was like, well, by busting out the windows, you ruined the interior, you ruined this. Now, basically, um, you've pretty much ruined the car. Now, it's pretty much a whole lot less like junk, but it's still worth thousands. But you're going to pay half of this because you've half the damage. He had to come up with $7,500. There you go. And he said he would do it because if he went to court, he might actually have to pay for all of the damages because the broken windows just ruined the car, So in my own backyard. But anyway, sometimes you just have to go, okay, as much as you'd like the kids to, go by, no, damn it. Hey, Al. David Castle, greetings and favor to all of you. Isby, I see you up there. Lady Spitfire. Uh, I felt snuffed out for a long time, right, Lady Spitfire? Yeah, things like that will definitely be, not necessarily a glow, but like a thimble that puts out our fire. Absolutely. If you stand around waiting for something, you'll be waiting all your life. If you need something, you have to go out and get what is right for you. Right, Al? Now, and I have to add this little caveat too, because this has happened to me. There are things that I thought that I needed to have, and the more I tried to work for them, because I wasn't listening to the spirit, I guess, that just wasn't where I was supposed to go. So I've tried to head in this particular direction, and every time I tried to go there, I mean, the bridge was out. It wasn't just like a pothole or something, or a muddy road or a slick. There was no passage. We ain't going any farther down this way. So all the time and effort and money and whatever that I've spent on thinking or wanting to go in a certain direction, when for me, it wasn't going to work no matter how I tried. So there are times in your life when you have to look at those kinds of things. Well, I put all my effort in this, but yeah, is it really what? Well, I really thought I wanted it. Yeah, but there are some people who will take the smallest thing, keep the faith with it, but it works out for them. But that don't mean it's going to work out for you. Not everybody can sell Tupperware. Just saying, you know. But Travis the Brick, how you doing? Ian, that's what this energy is doing. It's making people lose it. Yeah, to some folks, I think so. And hey, Barry Chad, I don't know if I said any. My cousins, when they were little, broke the windows on my 58 Fairlane. Yeah, this is a 1961 Dahmer, and the early Dahmers were, um, sort of roll. They almost look like a Bentley in a way, front end, the sedan part of it, but it had the long nose of the Jaguar. And like I said, it's still sitting in my yard, minus the windows. And what a shame, the body's still in pretty good shape, but it's a 61. And I don't know if my friend's ever going to come get it, but it's still sitting in my yard. But anyway, Regine Huddleston, greetings. How are you? Um, Cooking sugar cookies. Oh my goodness. Here, I got coffee, and we haven't said hi to Bob for a while. The AI. Bob, we love you. You've been doing, treating us real fair here lately. We want to say cheers and, happy holidays to everybody out there. Here's the thing that bothers me about the next couple of days. There's really been some really big, and what I consider some some heavy hitters and the spiritual ET and all this kind of progressive stuff. And I'm like, I'm trying to listen, and as I'm listening, it's like somebody's got, an old washboard, and they're rubbing something or fingers across the board. And I'm like, I'm trying to listen. What are they saying? And it's like, I'm going, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. So as much as I'm like, Mother Earth and Gaia, she's understanding the planets, and she's sending this love out to you. She's always doing it. Oh, but on the 21st, it's the first day of winter. The first day of winter comes every year. Oh, but there's this alignment. Yes, I know. But this happens every year. What makes it, oh, but it's Jupiter and Saturn. So, and I truly want to believe, but not to the hype that it's going. No, I'm sorry. It's the first day of winter. Yes, there's always something connected with each solstice and with each equinox. We have the summer solstice and the winter solstice. We have the spring equinox and the autumnal equinox. Okay. Equinox meaning equal days, day and night, equal. The What's coming up, the solstice meaning when the earth tilts, it tilts as far away as it's going to get. Actually, we don't untilt, but the way the position of the earth is, it's the farthest it's going to be. It's the longest night and the shortest day. The the summer solstice is when it's the shortest night and the longest day. That's what solstice is, right? So this idea, though, that we're all going to be transmuted, transformed, and otherwise transitioned into something else, and that we're all going to ascend into the fifth of something. I think some folks are going to be into a fifth of Berman on the 22nd, because they're going to go, ain't shit happened. Same shit, different day. Y'all lied to me. Where's all this stuff that's supposed to happen? You told me. I trusted you. You told me we were all gonna, and I'm gonna be that whiny pot over in the corner and going. I'll see y'all on Tuesday, okay? And we'll talk about this, and we'll see. We'll see. And this is what I believe. I believe that there are some quote ET contact folk who are trying to stimulate higher energy thoughts and so forth. Well, if you get everybody keyed up, and then it will happen. Well, I can see that. But at the same point, there ain't enough of us woke up to that kind of level yet that there's going to be this, we're all going to be in the fifth dimension stuff. It ain't there. Means still, there are too many people still worried about the chaos. Well, is this winter a transition? Absolutely. But it is only as good as every other winter solstice. And what are we going to use the winter for? Are we going to complicate? Complicate. Yes. Are we going to complicate our lives with more chaos? Are we going to complicate our lives with, oh my God, we're going to all be in the fifth dimension? It'll be cool if we do. Trust me. But my insides are going, I'll see you on Tuesday, and we'll have a discussion about how do you feel the day after? Do you have a hangover? Are you any more aware than you were like from today, for example? Now, again, I'm not trying to condescend anyone or their beliefs. But at the same time, I just feel like it's my job to be the grown up in the room and go, hey, maybe not. I think some of these folks are getting some bad intel. I really do. They're really talking a good game, We really do want this. I mean, don't understand? I want this to happen. I just don't think it's the day after tomorrow. That's all. You know, could it be the start? Every day is a start to something new if we allow it to. Do we allow it to turn us into some kind of, beggary creep, or, do we follow through and stay in the light? Do we pour water, or, get dunked in the river because, we didn't see that the bridge was out? Well, have faith. When you get to the river, if you believe that there's a bridge, you can cross it. And then, 90% of the people drowned. Why? Because there is no bridge. And the other 10% said, stupid, there's no bridge, and they decided not to try to cross. Oh, yeah, but they told us, that when we get to the river, just believe that the bridge is there and we can cross in style. And when you drown your ass in the next 10 minutes, you'll realize they lied to me, you know. So I'm thinking of a bunch of pioneers back in the day with, cows and horses and the wagon train. And when you get to the river, just believe, my children, and you will make it to the other side. And they don't, and then they hang the preacher, But with that said, though, when we get to the river, let's make sure we understand that maybe it's a little bit too high to cross today. Or maybe it's too low. Who knows? And there's too many. The river could never be too low to cross. But the idea that if you believe that there's an imaginary bridge, then you will cross it when you get there. That's sort of what I'm hearing as about this idea of being in the fifth whatever. Because if you believe that we're all going to transition into the fifth, then guess what? I got a bridge I want to sell you. Did you follow that? I'm going to help you to make believe that there's a bridge you're going to cross when you get to that river. Well, but here's the thing. We all have the potential, if we really understood, that we could float across the river, metaphorically and truthfully. Or that we could, wait a day and the water will go down and we could cross safely. And that would be the bridge to the other side. There are a lot of ways to be able to look at these things in the river of life, because it is metaphorically the same. So when we reach certain things in the river of our life, is it a flooded condition? Like right now with all the chaos, too much flood. Can we cross this river right now? Well, they told us there was a bridge. Do you see one? No. How high is the water, Mama? Well, it's 3 feet high and rising. How high is the water, Papa? She said it's 3 feet high and rising. Yeah, it's an old Johnny Cash song. But to that point, though, but by the time it gets to 5 feet high and rising, the chickens are sleeping in the willow trees, the cows in water up past their knees, 5 feet high and rising. But anyway, so metaphorically speaking, in the river of life, is there really is the bridge out? Are we going to fricking drown because somebody told us the bridge is good, keep going? Are those lemmings jumping off of the the ledge of life into the to be drowning rats in the river? Or can we look at this thing just a little bit more cautiously and go, it's a really good day, and it's a good day to cross the river? But we're going to see how high the water is, what the conditions are, how's the chaos, where's the, is it raining? Is the water coming up? Is the water going down? So can we ascend? Can we transition? Every single day that we live in this universe can be one of those days for us. Let's see if we can make tomorrow, the next day, any more special. But I'm just saying, I think there's going to be some folks out there are going to be disappointed. And I'm afraid of their spiritual outcome because they won't make it to where they think they should go or where they should be. And I worry about that. I honestly do. I feel for folks because they're hoping for so much. And what they expect may just, they I just wish they'd drowned in the river. You know what I mean? Uh, Brian Lunsford, timelines feel like they are overlapping. It almost feels like looking through a glass window, like we can see and choose the timeline we individually vibe with. That's your perception. I understand, Brian. There are a lot of things that seem like that to me too. My point is one day or 1 or 2 days gonna like somehow poof, it's all gonna be better on the other side. And I'm just saying, I think we all should talk on Tuesday and see how we feel after the fact. That's all. But I believe that every day is possible. Every day. Now, the timelines, it's good to see you, Brian, by the way. Um, I believe that there are a lot of timelines that are flipping around, like the dream I had earlier this morning about the road that I actually came home on uh, after going to the store today. I was like, what am I doing on the beeline? And it was just interesting. But so there are things that are happening like to me in real time that have somehow how happened in a dream time, or that the other day I did something and then I had a dream about something similar. But when I was in the dream, I was like, no, this isn't real. This is a replay with a twist. Interesting. Wonder what that was about. Just took something that had happened in real life and just changed it slightly. And it was like two timelines. But I don't know is here's this caveat about the timelines. I know which line I would like to be on, but I think there are too many other variables as to this is the one I would like. But there's a lot of chaos going around that which am trying to pursue, I might not be able to pursue that line because of other circumstances beyond my control. So in that, I got to go, like I went to town, the truck was fine. I checked the oil, I put water in the radiator, tires were good. Last thing I would have thought about is when I flipped on the lights that it would blow one of my headlamps. Whoops. So in this world of unexpected things, I choose this timeline, but as I go down that timeline, it might not want me. Or I might go, whoa, this is not what it looked like. I could see down this timeline a certain way and go, looks pretty good from here. But then there's a left from Clyde, and not just enough far out of my vision that I can't see it, or there's a wreck just over the hill, or the bridge is out. So, but I think it's the right road. I think it's the right path. So, but with that said, the timelines that are flipping around, they don't, to me, personal opinion, in my humble opinion, it's not, the timelines aren't as crazy as they were as far as being multiples of a bunch. But it seems like now there are certain timelines that where there were 10, there might only be 5 choices. And we still have choices, but 4 of them 5 suck big time. Blech. Where before we had 10 choices and 4 of them sucked, we had 6 other choices that were medium to okay, right? So it's almost like our choices have been narrowed, even though we still have choices, but some of them really, really suck. We'll see. You know what I mean? But as a prognosticator, I have wanted this solstice to be like the one, the bomb, the transition, the big kahuna. And they're going, sorry, Hawkeye, it ain't coming. What? If everybody else says it is. Yeah, but you tell your friends that you'll be here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we can talk them down out of their depression if they so need so. Let's warn them ahead of time because that's our job. As a hey, okay, when people are always looking to this, this is it, this is it, this is all our gumballs are in this sack right here. The Heyoki has to come up and go, maybe not. You might have checked that sock for a hole because you think you got all your gumballs and they're dropping out through a hole in the bottom because a mouse ate a hole in it the other night and you weren't aware of it. You think the sock is good. And thinking about how mice got into some of my stuff here. But anyway, yeah, I would like to, as a prognosticator, say time to get started. Yep, I agree that we can make a difference. I agree that we're already making a difference. My point is one certain day going to make that much difference? We'll check in a couple of days. I'm hoping it does for a lot of people. For me, I think it's just going to be another day. Just saying, you know, I'll look out at the sky. It'll be raining or not. There'll be sun or not. There'll be chemtrails or not. You know, me and the dog will play or not. Just it's going to be another day. As much as I put my energy and because I'm starting now, actually, I started the other day, but in my trying to be positive about this day, but also, like I said, in asking the universe, what's it going to be like? They're going, don't believe the hype, Dave. Honestly, don't believe the hype. But let's have a positive day anyway. Let's all put forth our best foot forward, but you know, don't get upset on Tuesday or Wednesday when things seem pretty much the same. So always eating holes in your gym. Okie dokie. So anyway, I thought as part of this tonight, hey Michelle, how are you? Hey Cherry. Uh I don't know if I missed. Says there are 18 of you folks. You lovely people. Hey, Mossy Man, Project Sky Falls is B. I think I got Lady Spitfire, Teresa, Regen Huddleston. Uh, you're afraid for us. Okay, I caught back up there. Yes, there are a lot of programming things going on right now. Absolutely. And for me, I have seen some of these things. Um, you know, come on, I lived through the Kennedy days, okay? So, what some people are just starting to catch up on is things that have been just a part of my life all my life. And I look at them folks and they're going, "Oh no, there were, there weren't three seats in the limousine with Kennedy. There was only two." Well, wait a minute. What about Governor Connolly that was sitting in the middle seat? And what about the magic bullet? Well, he was in another car. No, he wasn't. But the pictures, there were only two seats in the car in the limousine where Kennedy was. And there are people sort of like flat earthers. No offense, folks, but that there were only limousine. What about Connolly and his wife? What about the magic bullet? What about him getting shot in the arm and the leg and it bouncing all around and almost killed him? But no, there were only two seats in the limousine with Kennedy. Hang on. I watched it. We were listening, you know. So those folks have to go back to kindergarten and learn what 2 and 3 actually means, and who's that person, and so the things that some of us have been aware of for a long time, still haven't caught up with us. There are still people who don't understand where did the towers go with that lady that I can't remember her name at the moment. The towers turned into dust, literally turned to dust. And the Pentagon, the reason they've got a water fountain there is because there are interactions with whatever happened in the earth that they have to keep water there. Otherwise, it will burn a hole into the anyway. Same thing with over there that happened at the Pentagon. They turned in they put in a water fountain. Well, that's to remember. No, the water's there as a coolant to keep the temperatures, because whatever hit the ground there is still overheating, and the water is to keep it from overheating and creating a catastrophe. But people understand these things. Do you really? Now, what does that mean in the long scheme of things as far as spirituality? Well, you have to be able to see things as they truly are. Well, that didn't really happen. No, because you think otherwise. Well, then this can't happen in nature. Well, you can't believe this that you saw, and you can't believe that what you saw, because someone has filled your head with a narrative. So, but when you actually look for yourself, see it for yourself, make up your decision for yourself, you can listen to other people's opinions. But it's when you realize that you've seen all the facts and the God creator has spoken to you, and you see it and you go, oh shit. Oh. That aha moment on so many things. But there are so many people that have not had those certain aha moments. I hope and pray that they do. I mean it when I say at the beginning and the end of my videos that I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every person, their friends, their family, all of their relatives, and all of their relations will learn to understand the healing, the knowledge, and the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. I mean that from the depths of my heart. And anybody that may even come close to hearing it, So that's my 10 cents. I think that every day is the potential to be that special transition or ascension day for each one of us. When I watched my grandma pass away, I watched her ascend into heaven. I watched her make that transition. And I think from a personal, this side of point of view, I get what some of that means. What would it mean for me personally? Well, I'm not ready to die in 3D at the moment. I think there's still stuff to do. But if that transition is where I need to go, then hey, who am I to argue with it? I'm going to head in that direction. So anyway, the spirits have been kicking me around the last couple of days, and asking for things and answers and so forth and stuff. And so one of the things was, there's somebody out there that needs a card reading. And I was like, really? Seriously? So I have the cards. And one of them got bent all up for some weird reason. What's that? Have to. Looks funky. It was the rabbit card. But anyway, I got to make sure that one doesn't get mixed up. So I'm going to pull a card or two, sort of like normal, not really asking for any particular thing. My prayer earlier today was, let me pull a card or cards that would help people to understand what these next couple of days could mean for them individually, spiritually, not necessarily as a collective. Because, what's going to happen to me, I swear, could be absolutely, totally different from anything that y'all feel. Not that what I feel is better or worse than what you feel, or that what you feel is better or worse than what I feel. That's not it. That's not it. It's because we are individuals in this universe, and each one of us is on our own soul journey. The same event is not going to feel the same for each one of us. That's just fact. So I'm curious, how we're going to feel and how's it going to feel and etc. But I'm doing my best to not put anything forward in that thinking. So pick a card, any card, said the shyster to the fly. Um, wow, that card wants to come out. Oops. And I guess it wants to get turned around. I ain't going to look at it at the moment. Okay. I know what that card is, and I don't want to look at it. So I'm going to, they want shuffled again for whatever reason. They wanted this card out. It's butterfly upside down. And the spider catches the fly. And there's one more in here in the deck. Doodly doo, maybe two. That one wants to come out. And all right. Anybody else? Hello in there. No, I don't think so. Okay. So how y'all doing after an hour and a half? You like turtles? Me too. Surf's up. Cowabunga. Yep. So the one I wouldn't look at, dog, number 14. Loyalty. Well, Duggar is fairly loyal when I can get him to come back from the neighbors. Thank you, Barry, and all of you friends. Dog, number 14 is loyalty. Dog, you are so noble until the bitter end. Your medicine is the teaching of true and loyal friends. And this set of glasses is not going to quite get it. I need my little blacky ones. Come here, boy. This might be better. Let me see. Loyalty. All of the Southwest and Plains Indian tribes had dogs. These noble animals would often give warning signals of approaching danger. They helped in the hunt and were a great source of warmth on long winter's nights. Yeah, Duggar takes over my little bed over there and threw me out the other day. He was so looking for a warm spot. But it is true. Since the canine tribe has many breeds, early Indian dogs were usually half wild. This wildness, however, never divested the owners of their dogs and their innate loyalty. Dog has been considered the servant of humanity throughout history. If a person carries dog medicine, he or she is usually serving others or humanity in some way. Here you will find the charity worker, the philanthropist, the nurse, the counselor, the minister, and the soldier. Dog was a servant soldier that guarded the tribe's lodges from a surprise attack. Dog is a medicine that embodies the loving gentleness of best friend and the half-wild protector energy of territorial imperative. How about that? Like Anubis, the jackal dog protector of Egypt, dog is a guardian. Throughout history, dog has been the guardian of hell, as well as of ancient secrets, hidden treasures, and babies. While mothers were cooking or in the fields, dog honors its gifts and is loyal to the trust placed, placed in its care. In examining dog medicine, you might find that you have fond personal memories of owning and loving dog as a pet. The message that dogs are trying to give you is that you must delve deeply into your sense of service to others. Canines are generally service oriented animals and are devoted to their owners with a sense of loyalty that supersedes how they are treated. If dog has been yelled at or paddled, it still returns love to the person who was the source of its bad treatment. This does not come from stupidity, but rather from a deep and compassionate understanding of human shortcomings. How about that? It is as if a tolerant spirit dwells in the heart of every canine that asks only to be of service. Now, I have met some mean dogs in my life, even their owners couldn't control, but that's another story. You can also see dogs that have here we go. You can also see dogs that have had the loyalty beaten out of them. They cower and cry at the slightest look of disapproval, but this is not their normal nature. Some variety of dogs have even been trained against their natures to be brutal and vicious. Out of a sense of service, these breeds have adopted the attack-oriented desires of their owners. They carry an altered genetic memory of what service means if they are to be approved of by their masters. Dog medicine asks you to look at how readily your sense of loyalty is countermanded by your need for approval. If you have pulled the dog card, there are several questions you need to consider depending on the situation about which you are asking. Number one, have I recently forgotten that I owe my allegiance to my personal truth in life? Let me read that one again. Have I recently forgotten that I owe my allegiance to my personal truth in life? In other words, the allegiance to yourself and to your own honesty. Have you forgotten your own allegiance to yourself? Number two, is it possible that gossip or the opinions of others have jaded my loyalty to a certain friend or group? Or maybe all this chaos is have helped you to forget, your allegiance to your truth, having nothing to do with another group. I mean, we're all a part of the league of like-minded beings, and I guess that we could do something that's totally contrary to that and that would be against the nature of the universe in that respect. Number three, have I denied or ignored someone who is trying to be my loyal friend? You just have to look at that and ask yourself. Number four, have I been loyal and true to my goals? Now, only you can answer that, right? But, the number one, have I recently forgotten that I owe my allegiance to my personal truth in life? What is that core value that drives you? Have you forgotten your allegiance to that? Anyway, in the contrary position, dog, and it was right side up, by the way. It made me turn it around. Dog may be telling you that you have become critical or mean due to the company you are keeping. The reversal of this medicine can also imply that it is time to stop cowering with fear and time to begin to tackle the adversaries of your confidence. The key is to realize that these are not external enemies, but thought forms in your own mind which tell you that you are not worthy of loyalty. Now, I know some folks like that. And there are those times when I have those feelings. I was feeling that way a week or so ago, and I was like, get over it. Either to yourself or to others, you may want to examine the patterns of disloyalty in your life. Do you, for example, pass on gossip or not speak up when someone else is rumor mongering? And it's sort of why I had to do this video in a way, in that let's all be careful that, let's talk on Tuesday. Do you make jokes that belittle others? Do you refuse to return kindness? These are characteristics of fear, and particularly of a fear that is common to humans, two-legged family, the fear of not belonging or of not being approved of. Reclaim your power of loyalty to self and self-truth. Become like dog. Be your own best friend. Okay, there's dog. Now, I got frog number 38 is upside down. So, and I went right to the page. Ain't that interesting? Frog, cleansing. Sing, frog, sing. Call the rains, quench the dryness, cleanse the earth, and then fill me up again. You can see all around Hawkeye, Isby. Cleansing. Frog sings the songs that bring the rain and make the dirt road more bearable. Frog medicine is akin to water energy and the east on the medicine wheel. Frog teaches us to honor our tears, for they cleanse the soul. All water rights belong to Frog, including all initiations by water. Water prepares and cleanses the body for a sacred ceremony. It is the element we understand best in the womb. Frog, like ourselves, is a polywog in the fetal waters and only learns to hop after it experiences the world of fluidity. The transformation into adulthood prepares frogs for its power to call in the waters of the skies, the rain. And knowing the element of water, frog can sing the song that calls the rain to earth. But when the ponds are dry, frog calls upon the thunder beings to cleanse and replenish the earth with water. Like frog, we are asked to know when it is time to refresh, purify, and refill the coffers of the soul. Now, could this be that in the next day or two, right, that we're going to be singing to the universe for cleansing? Take that into consideration. If frog hopped into your cards you chose today, it is ribbit, may be calling in the cleansing you need. If you were to look at where you are today, would you use any of the following words to describe your condition? Tired, overloaded, harried, frustrated, guilty, itchy, nervous, at a loss, empty, or weakened? If so, take a break and allow yourself to bathe in the waters of frog medicine. This could mean a long, relaxing bath, disconnecting the phone, yelling stop, or taking in a deep, cleansing breath. Now, with that said, what I said earlier about if I'm getting ready for a ceremony, I'll start a day or so ahead of time in order to get yourself cleansed. I didn't use the word cleansed, but, I did actually say when you fast, you cleanse yourself out. But so anyway, interesting that frog appears a day before my consideration of ceremony, right? Anyway, you understand. The key thought is to find a way to rid yourself of distractions. That's what I said earlier. And to replace the mud with clear energy. Then replenish your parched spirit, body, and the mind. And the ability of frog medicine people is to give support and energy when it is needed. A frog medicine person can clean negativity from any environment. Many mediums or clairvoyants who work with cleansing haunted houses carry frog medicine. Many of the world's seers use water on their hands when tapping into other realms of reality due to water's superconductive nature. Yep, I saw a medicine woman stick her hand in a river and start talking in tongues and spouting out shit. It was crazy, let me tell you. And she was Mayan, by the way. In Mayan and Aztec shamanistic practices, the shaman places water in his or her mouth and sprays it over the body of a patient to clear away the negative energy. This is done while holding the thought of frog firmly in the mind, uh, so that the healing may occur and the patient may be replenished with positive energy. You may have seen in some of those ceremonies down from South America, the guy, blowing, you don't know what it is, but he's spitting out, it's water. Sometimes dried and stuffed frogs are also used to guard the person's body during the session. Eye of Newt and frog and toad and everything in the old witch's brew. Frogs speak of new life and harmony through its rain song. The deep tone of frog's ribbit are said to be a call to the thunder beings. Thunder, lightning, and the rain. The ribbit is the heartbeat that comes into harmony with Father Sky and calls for the replenishment needed. Now, my take on this frog thing is that we can all ribbit here these next 2 days and call upon, the thunder gods, if you will, through this, through the day of the solstice and from the energy. Okay. Call to frog and find peace and the joy of taking time to give to yourself. A part of this giving is cleansing yourself of any person, place, or thing that does not contribute to your new state of serenity and your replenishment. Actually, I think the frog card goes along with the dog card in that, yep. Frog slipped in, this is the contrary. Frog slipped in the mud and is lying on its back, unable to right itself. Get ready for more mud in your eye. Now, it is upside down. The contrary position of frog can denote an unwillingness on your part to wipe the mire out of your life. Mud can turn from mire to bog to quicksand if you don't recognize its effect on your present situation. A lot of folks swimming in the chaos. If it is someone draining your energy. Are you allowing yourself to ride down the tubes with them? Have you tried to settle someone else's quarrel and gotten in the line of fire? Stop! Recognize what it is that is mucking up the lily pond. Swim with frogs. Frogs' bug eyes see it all. Dive deeply and then hop to the next lily pad to catch the sun. In this way, you may see exactly what has been draining your energy. At times, all of life's activities can be overwhelming, and everyone occasionally needs a break. Contrary frog can signal one of these moments, but it can also portend a time of feeling waterlogged. In feeling waterlogged, you may be dealing with too many emotions or feelings. I think that's true with a lot of folks right now. That's why I said sometimes you just need, if you're going to do something, you just need to wash away, start a day ahead of time. This is to say that the world is too much with you, or that you have immersed yourself in one idea or activity to the exclusion of all other facets of your life. If this is the case, a break from the routine is suggested. Hop to other lily pads or visit other ponds for a while. Negativity is drawn to you when you refuse to give yourself the time and the space needed to assume a new viewpoint. So if you want a new viewpoint, you got to clean out the other stuff before you can allow something new to come in. Frog in the contrary position is an omen that you are courting disaster. If you don't stop and smell the lilies, eat a few flies, bask in the sun, and rivet until the rain comes to refill your spirit. I think frog in both of those actually means something. Uh, just saying. Ooh, next one, upside down, number 37. Wow, that's interesting. 37 and 38. And I picked 37 first, but I read frog first. Um, and I'm not sure if I've had this card before. Antelope, number 37. I don't know if I've ever had antelope. Its card is action. Run, antelope. Teach me of action and its pace. Quickly, quickly, so I may run with grace. Action. Antelope. When time was just beginning and the tribe of man was small, Antelope saw that the two-leggeds were naked, hungry, and in danger of extinction. The ancestors would soon vanish from Mother Earth if action were not taken. Here's to you, Bob. Coffee with heavy milk. Anyway, Antelope took action and came into the camp, calling all the two-leggeds together for counsel. Great Mystery sent me to teach you a lesson, said Antelope. The lesson is to do. You have no need to be fearful if you know what to do, and then you do it, Antelope said. And what shall we do? Asked the people. If you are naked and cold, you should kill me and take my coat to keep you warm. It is my gift to you. Do it. We will, said the people. But what of our hunger? We are starving. What can we do to save ourselves? If you are hungry, said Antelope, you should kill me and take my flesh, for it will nourish you and make you strong. It is my gift to you and a part of my evolution. It is my service. So do it. Antelope knew that humankind would survive the Ice Age if the people learned to eat meat. Before the movement of the great ice mountains, fruit and vegetables had been plentiful, and the two-leggeds had had no need to eat of the bodies of their fellow creatures. The clans of the second world ate antelope. Taking the instinct and wisdom of the four-leggeds into their bodies, the people learned through each creature's essence how to survive. They were taught never to waste or to take more than they needed. When they were in need, the two-leggeds knew how to take action. Humans learned Antelope's lesson well. Because of Antelope, humans took proper action and survived to this present day. Antelope taught humans to honor the gifts sent from the great mystery and to avoid indiscriminate destruction of life. Antelope signifies knowledgeable action. Antelope is the symbol for the antenna of your hair, which attaches you to the great mystery by its long cords of light. Looking at antelope, you become aware of your mortality and the short time span you have on this planet. With this in mind, you must act accordingly. Proper action pleases the great mystery. Antelope medicine is the knowledge of life's circle. Knowing of death, antelope can truly live. Action is the key and essence of living. Antelope powers have courted and shamanized uh, since the dawn of time. Antelope clans have been many, and the power of antelope people is great. And the ability to take quick and decisive action to get things, accomplished. If you feel stymied, call upon the antelope medicine. If you are balled up and twisted in knots, antelope powers will speak to you of proper action and soon set you free. Many ingenious solutions to problems are whispered by antelope. Listen, and even more importantly, act. Surround yourself with the illumination and the secret knowledge of Antelope. Combine this with action, and you will overcome any obstacle or hindrance in your path. If Antelope is your centering tree and strong personal medicine, thank Great Spirit. Say what should be said. Your judgment is sound and your actions will be successful. Always listen to what Antelope has to say to you. Antelope in your card medicine indicates a message of higher purpose. Antelope arms you with with the bow of authority and forces you to act on behalf of itself, family, clan, nation, and finally, Mother Earth. Antelope says, do it now, don't wait any longer. Antelope knows the way, and so do you. Take courage and leap. Your sense of timing is perfect. When Antelope has bounded into your cards, the time is now. The power is you. Now, it was upside down. Contrary Antelope is a signal that you are not listening. I know some folks like that. And not acting on the will of the Great Spirit. Whoa, this might be really true in some certain circumstances. Anyway, you can be taking more than your share. Antelope medicine, on the contrary, makes you crazy and quarrelsome. Ooh. You will certainly be indecisive and not know what direction to turn. You may be lying to yourself and others. Stop lying, even if you think it will get you off the hook. Yeah, that never works. Contrary Antelope will trip you at every turn. Quit being so conventional and following others all the time. Oh, sort of my message for this evening. Take your own authority. Let Antelope's heart beat strong in you, and you will know the way. But as always, the message is do it. The fear of the unknown subsides once action begins. Contrary Antelope may also be telling you that a decision to start is now necessary. Now, what could this, winter solstice mean? It's a start, either to look inside, start planning for, spring. Anyway, a decision to start is now necessary. The main element in procrastination is lack of conviction. To honor your chosen destiny is to honor your commitment to doing what you proclaim you are doing. Walking your talk is the essence of Antelope people. Talking your walk is contrary Antelope personified. Walking your talk is the essence of Antelope people. Talking your walk is contrary Antelope personified. To write the contrary Antelope, these three steps are necessary. Number one, have the desire to do something. Number two, make the firm decision to begin that action. Number three, then do it. To honor your chosen destiny is to honor your commitment to doing what you proclaim you're doing. Now, there are folks who are talking a bunch of stuff, but are they actually walking the talk or are they talking the walk? They talk a good line, but are they actually doing it? Now, I've talked about this particular, and I brought it up the other night, as far as connecting dots in the universe and this and that and the other thing. And it had to be Spider. And Spider kind of jumped out of the cards. And so Spider is number 43, and it's weaving. Spider, weaving webs of delight. Weave me weave me a peaceful world, carrying creation in your web, waiting to be unfurled. Now, let me say thank you, Bob, everybody here. Spider wove the web that brought humans the first picture of the alphabet. The letters were part of the angles of her web. Dear, asked Spider, what she was weaving and why all the lines looked like symbols. Spider said, why, dear, it is time for Earth's children to learn to make records of their progress in their Earth walk. Dear, answered Spider, but they already have pictures that show through symbols the stories of their experiences. Yes, Spider said, but Earth's children are growing more complex, and their future generations will need to know more. Won't remember how to read the petroglyphs. So it was the spider wove the first primordial alphabet, and she had woven the dream of the world that had become manifest. Spider's dream of the physical world had come to fruition millions of years before. Spider's body is made like the number 8, consisting of 2 lobe-like parts connected at the waist and 8 legs. Spider is the symbol for the infinite possibilities of creation. The infinite possibilities of creation. Her 8 legs represent the 4 winds of change and the 4 directions on the medicine wheel. Spider weaves the webs of fate for those who get caught and become her dinner. This is similar to humans who get caught in the web of illusion, the physical world, and never see beyond the horizon into the other dimensions. The web of fate also represents a wheel of life, which does not include any alternatives or solutions. It is typical human to get caught in the polarity of good or bad fortune without realizing that we can change it at any time. If we are not decisive enough about changing our lots in life, we may end up being consumed by our fears and limitations. Now, this is interesting that Spider is talking about getting caught in a polarity, and we may end up being consumed by our own fears, not decisive enough about changing our lots in life. What did Antelope say? Do it. So, boy, these two are sort of connected, in my humble opinion. Spider is the female energy of the creative force that weaves the beautiful designs of life. Her web has hundreds of intricate patterns which catch the morning dew. If Spider has dropped from her web into your cards today, she may be telling you to create, create, create. Look for new alternatives to your present impasse. She can also be warning you that you are coming too close to an entangled situation. Spider could be asking you to use a journal to write out and review your progress. If you do this, you will not forget how you are creating a new or different phase in your life. Now, we all feel this, there's something new coming up, right? So, with Spider and the decisiveness of Antelope, it's time to make up your mind and do it, especially if it's something that you've been working on. And so that if you write down what you've been doing, you will not forget how you are creating a new or different phase in your life. Spider brings a message of a different kind when she sees you becoming a bit too involved in the weaving of your life plans to notice opportunity at the outskirts of your web. If this is the case, Spider gets your attention so that you can notice that something you have woven has borne fruit. Congratulations, Spider caught you just in time before you missed the opportunity on the edge of your web or your reality. So you might be so focused right here, there might be something right over here just on the edge of your peripheral vision that may be important to you. But if you're so focused here and you don't look up around you at all, you may be missing a really good juicy bug. You know what I mean? If you're a spider. Now, in the contrary position, because the spider was right side up. Yes. Contrary spider, aspect of spider is I don't even want to read this, is akin to the negative side of woman. Spider will eat her mate if she gets too caught up in herself to see the validity of honoring male energy. That's interesting. Spider will eat her mate if she gets too caught up in herself to see the validity of honoring male energy. The warrior at her side is a strong balancing force. If you have become disdainful of your mate, male or female, and have felt very superior recently, you are not honoring either your male or female side. Not a person, but your own side, okay? If you are not presently in a relationship, you may have chosen a member of your family or a workmate to harass. This type of negative criticism only breaks down relations and is a reflection of something you hate about yourself. If you are not trying to feed your ego in this manner, you have lost the game. If you are entangled in the web of your own illusion about who you really are, it may be time to look at why you are being critical and why you are feeling so weak that you must attack other people. If this does not apply to your situation, take a look at another message that contrary spider medicine brings: lack of creativity. If you fail to use your talents to get the web spinning, your lack of creativity can change into destructiveness. If you are feeling stagnant and unable to move in a positive direction, you may come to resent others who are doing well. This resentment will become a black widow spider and eat you up, and the only one to mourn your demise will be you. Get moving, find joy and new ideas in the accomplishments of others, and use them to propel you into a new phase of creative spinning on your own web of delight. Observe Spider's web and find pleasure in the ideas you receive from her universal language. So, there, my friends, after 2 hours and 7 minutes, um, um, the antelope and the spider were definitely connected, and frog and the cleansing and dog and loyalty. It seems them cards, wow, they were a good message for me. Um, a lot of times I will see a message that actually I can see how it works out for someone I know, someone maybe I have talked to, or maybe one of my relatives. I talked to uh, my daughter the last week, and then I talked to her mama a couple of days later, and the story I got from one is not the same as the other, and so. But anyway, in that though, there are truth and lies and deception and realities and directions and misdirections, and you see things, and I see things in some of the cards, and I go, like, for example, loyalty from the dog. Yeah, maybe not so much. There's some folks, need a little bit of cleansing. I really need to go to the river. Me and Doug are both, spider in the web of weaving, and that some people are caught up in their own deception and their own illusions, and many people. And here's the thing: in these next few days with this transition that may or may not occur, is that we can use it and say, look, regardless of whether or not it's going to be some kind of huge thing, I'm going to use it myself. I'm going to use it to strengthen my position. I'm going to use it to help make my core strength more. I'm going to use antelope strength to, to see, that this is important. I'm going to use dog medicine and check the loyalty to my own self. Am I being true to myself in that, not trying to deceive or to be something that you're not? Can you walk the talk, or are you talking the walk? Well, the red road and all these things and doing all this internal work, that's talking. But have you done it? I myself, I tell about this, my stories of self and things, and because that's my proof, that yes, I've been through this shit. And sometimes here we go again, right? But I don't feel that way this time around. There are forces of darkness and weirdness, I swear, in all of my lifetime has never occurred like it is occurring now. But at the same point, I have never felt stronger in my own personal convictions, in that I see this side of the energy. I understand this cosmic goo, at least to the point that I belong in it and that we are all a part of it. And I don't think I'll ever learn how it works because I don't think it's necessary. But in that, I wonder how this gets like that, how something ticks, right? But the fact that it does work, the fact that, I can send out a thought and a day or two later, I get a phone call or an email from someone. And earlier today, I was reading this book of that Robert V sent me. We're going to start doing episodes on Native American stories on, different types of animals and so forth. And he bought this beautiful book and sent it to me. And I was sitting here reading it today, and I got an email from him, and I said, LOL. I was sitting here reading the book when I got the email. And I told him I wanted to retract my original statement. I said, well, it's got a bunch of short stories in here. Got a bunch of long ones too. So anyway, but to that point, though, I was procrastinating a little bit on it. I was like, oh man, I don't want to really look at that right now. All I want to do is think about mixing cement. I want to finish my porch, right? So, but anyway, in whatever it is that we decide to do, can we stay loyal to ourselves and to what seems to be our important journey? If yours is to learn about spiritual things, for me, I have to use my age a lot of times because I've seen so many groups that I have been a party to, and so many other folks, and oh, here's another transition. Here's another, like Paul Begley, it's apocalyptic. Everything is apocalyptic. Now, God bless him. He tries his best and to bring people in, but he's got this, Christian philosophy thingy, although he believes in aliens and a bunch of other stuff, which is interesting. But everybody's got their own little take on how it goes. So I can still listen to Pastor Paul. And when he says, God help us and state some Bible scripture, he is trying to stay true to himself and trying to understand more. But the Bible, because he's a pastor and a preacher and a Christian, the Bible is his word, right? So, but he still sees other things within the Bible, but he also tries to use the Bible to explain it, when sometimes you need to just put the book down. But anyway, in that, though, one reason why I can still listen to Pastor Paul sometimes is because he stays true to his mission. He stays loyal to what he believes in. And there are other people that I think the only reason they do it is for clickbait. Well, they're going to talk about this. Well, we're going to learn about this in spirituality. And then a year later, they go back through the same thing. They haven't learned shit. And at least Pastor Paul is still talking about things and he's staying true to his core belief. So where there are things like, well, Pastor Paul, he's at it again, blah, but he's staying true and loyal to his belief. And I respect that in him. Where there's some other people who are putting out some hype and some other stuff, and I just go, I think they're out of their realm. I don't know if they're actually being true to their own core. I mean, so although me and Pastor Paul may not agree on everything, I can see where his spirituality and his willingness to be true and loyal, that is something to honor. Well, other people, I've kind of lost some, I've lost a little bit because, these folks have been spouting off stuff that, without a book, but well, the ET says, and these people say, and oh man, tomorrow, the next day, we're all going to ascend into this other higher state of being. Oh, we'll see. I hope so. I really do. But I think we're all going to be having this conversation similarly on Tuesday. And, I would really like to be wrong on this. Okay. Let me tell you, I'd really like to be wrong on this. But on Tuesday, if I do a video, I'm just going to say, well, I ain't going to say I told you so, because I'm telling you that right now. But I'm going to say on Tuesday, well, how did it go for you folks? Sort of a question, and, how did it work for you? Anything special happened for you? Because I seriously would like to know. Because what is being proposed and prophesied, we'll see, right? So let's keep a clear head. Let's keep the loyalty that we know that's within ourselves. I know I'm going to be praying for peace as soon as I get done with this video. And for the next day or so, like I said earlier on in this video, I'm going to try to stay out of the chaos of everyday events so that I can keep my spirit and myself as clean as possible for my meditation on Sunday and Monday. That's my personal, what I'm going to do. So everybody has their own choice, but, in what I consider a higher realm of thinking, I understand how important it is to do prep work for an event that may or may not, but I'm going to take advantage of it and consider putting my 10 cents worth of positive prayers into the universe. And y'all can join me, I'll come on live and we can all have a prayer together and send it to the universe and we'll see what happens. I'm positive about that. Am I positive about the effect that it'll have? No, but I'm going to stay positive in that we will be putting positive energy into a chaotic situation and that any positive energy will help a positive outcome. How much, how far, etc., not a clue, but I do know that it will help. So how much doesn't matter. If I just pray by myself or there are 20 of us praying, will that matter? It matters if our intent is true. So that means that there are going to be 10 of us putting out a prayer versus just one of me. So that's got to be better than just one prayer, And so how much is it going to affect the negative chaos? We don't know. We shouldn't care about how much, but we will also know positively our positive energy will help. And to what degree, we're just going to have to wait and see on because there's a bunch of craziness out there on a bunch of levels. So we can all hope for the best, and pray for the best. and ignore any of the negatives so our prayers stay positive. Well, I thought about, how bad this election stuff is, and it's got me so pissed off, but I'm going to meditate with you. Nah, go over there and get rid of that negativity before you bring your prayer to me. Why? Because you're caught up in this thing, and how can you send out good energy when you're full of the chaos of the present time? You can't really. You can try, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if you don't try ahead of time to clear your thoughts and to be more calm so that your prayer is more effective, you see, that's a greater understanding. That's a higher form of thought. So it's a higher form of spiritualism. But other people go, well, who said? Well, try it. You'll see from experience. Well, I tried and failed. Well, it's like the story of those three guys from Minnesota with the drum. And it happened similar to me. A friend of mine, their van broke down, and I stayed around in Tullahoma an extra day and helped them get their van fixed and do this. And I ended up with this beautiful flute as a present, made by this friend of mine. And I had not expected anything, but that I had learned a lot from these two friends of mine. But in that, I also received this wonderful gift from both of them. So, and a lifelong memory. So, something good can come out of a negative incident. Flat tires, broken down vehicles. I mean, you'd be surprised. So sometimes an adverse thing can turn out to be a blessing. But if all they are is a problem, then nothing is ever learned. So anyway, my friends, I love you. It's 2.5 hours. I got a butt cramp for real, Michelle. And I know y'all are out there thinking what you're thinking, and just keep up the good work, okay? Yeah, see you later tonight. I will check my email. Thank you, Teresa. Thank you all for coming and hanging out. That says there's 18 of you here. I love you all for your participation. I will be waking up to good music, playing air guitar around the house while I sing and dance poorly. How do you know, Dave? Well, it might be a good dance, like I do every morning. Michelle, you're welcome. Teresa, Travis, David. Let's see, who else might be in here that I missed? Travis. Oh, Barry, Chad, absolutely. Oh, hi, how are you? Isby. Lady Spitfire. What did you say the name of that book and deck is? Lady Spitfire. It's called Medicine Cards. And these are an older set, but they're just medicine cards for Native American type of thing. So, but anyway, my friends, I love you. I'll see you tomorrow night, possibly on the Andromeda 7 thing. And I'll also be doing a thing here on this channel, possibly Monday. So I just kind of want to see how other folks handle the 21st. And I'm going to find a time, and then I'm going to, probably around the 11:30, maybe 12 o'clock time to do a hi, Joyce. Are you serious? Good to see you. So, but anyway, tomorrow I'll find out from Teresa about the Andromeda group and the time, and I'll post that as a short video. And depending on what time it is, and afterwards, there may be a prayer that I do separate from that. So anyway, I'll try to keep you informed. But I love you all. Thank you so much for your attention, your time, your willingness to understand. So good morning, good evening, good night to all of you. And I do always close with a prayer, and I try every day. I honestly do. I send these prayers out to all of you and your friends and your family. So I do continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and your friends and neighbors will learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, the wisdom, the prayers, and the blessings from the universe. I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations, past, present, and to come, will continue to learn to accept and receive the healing, the knowledge, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And in that eternal law of three, I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept, receive, and to share the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe. And as always, I am eternally your friend. To our friend Brian, who's always hanging around with us, we say thank you, our dear brother who have passed before us and who continue to give us energy and knowledge from the other side. Continue to pray, my friends. Continue to pray for the positive. We are making a difference. How much? We'll see in the end. Are changes coming, and we must go into this solstice thinking that during the wintertime, we are going to think about and come up with ideas so that the spring will spring forward with wonderful results. So with that, Michelle, David, Joyce, Isby, and all y'all that have been hanging out here, blessings to y'all, and I will see you soon. So take care, be kind, be sweet, and above all, have a little bit of joy in your life. And as we say from South Georgia, TTFN. Ta-ta for now. Ween. And thank you, Bob, for all that you've done. Bye, y'all.